So today our topic is errors in inorganic chemistry. Errors in inorganic chemistry. First of all, definition. Definition of error is the difference between true or standard value and observed value. The difference between true or standard value and observed value. Now, formula. Formula for this is true or standard value minus observed value. Formula is true value minus observed value. This is absolute error. Absolute error. Now there is one more formula, that is percentage error. Percentage error. This is formula for absolute errors, true value or standard value minus observed value. Now coming to the percentage error. Percentage error formula is true or standard value minus observed value whole divided by true or standard value into 100. This is the formula for percentage error. This is the formula for absolute error. True value or standard value minus observed value is absolute error, and the percentage error is true value or standard value minus observed value whole divided by true value or standard value into 100. This is formula for percentage error. This is first formula and this is second formula. Now coming to the source. Coming to the source of errors. Coming to the source of errors. There are different kinds of source of errors which are responsible for the errors. First one is improper sampling. Second one is there is error in sample preparation. Error in sample preparation. And third one is error which is made by the analyst. Analyst error. Now fourth one is errors due to the equipments which are used in analysis process. Equipments used. Now fifth one is reporting. Reporting the final product. Now, sixth one is calculation. When there is error in a calculation. Seventh one is calibration. These are the source of errors which are responsible here. First one is improper sampling. Second one is sample preparation. While the third one is analyst error, means here the error which is caused because of the analyst. Now fourth one is equipments which are used, and the error which is caused by the equipments which are used here. And fifth one is reporting the product. Sixth one is calculation. Seventh one is calibration. Here the improper sampling, when we are performing any analysis process, here we require some samples for the process which we are analyzing. So when we do not use proper samples, there is an error which is arising in it. This is called improper sampling. Now second one is sample preparation. For if we are any sample preparation, if we are doing any analysis process, we require some samples, and that samples we should be prepared by ourselves. When there is any error in preparation of these samples, it will be resulting in the errors. This is second source. Now analyst error. When the error which is came by the analyst is called error analyst, and this error which is now the analysts who are not well experienced and who do not know the process of analysis will perform this type of errors. This is analyst error. Equipment error. When there is a error in the equipments which are used by the analyst in this analysis process, it will be resulting in the error. It is called equipment error. Reporting the product. Reporting the product means when the analysis process is over, we get some product. While reporting the product, if there is any error in that product, is called reporting is known as reporting. Calculation. In analysis process, there are several calculations related to the reagents, analyst, etc. When there is any error in the calculation process, it is called calculation. Next one is calibration. Next topic is types of errors. Generally, the errors are categorized into two types: determinate while the other one is indeterminate. One is determinate error while the other one is indeterminate error. These determinate errors are also called systematic errors. These are called systematic errors. These indeterminate errors are also called non-systematic errors or random errors. Once again, errors are classified into two types. This is the first type and this is the second type. First one is determinate error, while the second one is indeterminate error. These determinate errors are also called systematic errors, and indeterminate errors are also called non-systematic errors. Now, these determinate errors, in these determinate errors, the main point we should remember is the cause of error is known to analyst. In this determinate error, the cause of the error is known to the analyst, whereas in non-systematic error, cause is not known. And These can be overcome, and these errors cannot be overcome, can't overcome. These are the two types: determinate, indeterminate. Determinate errors are also called systematic errors. Indeterminate errors are also called non-systematic errors. These systematic errors can be overcome, and these non-systematic errors cannot overcome. Here, the cause of the errors can be known to the analyst, but in indeterminate errors, the cause cannot be known to the analyst. Now, these determinate errors are further classified into 6 types. These determinate errors further classified into 6 types. First one is personal errors. Second one is instrumental errors. Third one is reagent errors. Fourth one is proportional error. And the fifth one is additive errors. Sixth one is method error. First we should discuss about additive error. Next we should discuss about proportional error. Here we will write additive errors. Here we should write proportional errors. These are the 6 types of determinate errors: personal errors, instrumental errors, reagent errors, additive errors, proportional errors, method errors. Now coming to the personal errors. Personal errors are also called manual errors. These personal errors are caused by the analyst, who is not well experienced in doing analysis process, and these personal errors can overcome by the experience. Now, instrumental errors. What are instrumental errors? Instrumental errors are the errors in which the instruments which are used by analyst during the analysis process, if there is any error or any damage to the instruments which are used, then there is an error called instrumental error. Now, reagent error. During the process of analysis, what is reagent error? During the process of analysis process, we use analyte, first one analyte, reagent and solvent, etc. Now the reagent is must and should be added into the analysis process. When the reagent which is added to the analysis process is impure form, and if it contains any error in it, there will be error called reagent error. Now coming to the additive error. What is additive error? This additive error is also called constant error. This additive error is also called constant error, means when the error which is formed during the analysis process will be remain constant throughout the analysis process. Here error will be constant throughout the analysis process. If we increase the volume of any analyte or reagent, then there will be no change in the error. Example: 10.1, 10.2, 10.3. these three are the 10.1. Okay, sorry. 10.1, 11.1, 12.1. These three are the errors by three analysis process. Here point 1, point 1, point 1. These three will be remain constant. This is called additive error. Next, coming to the proportional error. In this proportional error, the error which is formed during the analysis process will be remain changed as we increase or decrease the volume of analysis and volume of analyte. Error will be variable. As we increase or decrease the volume of analyte or reagent, the error which is formed will be variable according to that analysis process. Example: 10.1, 10.2, 10.3. This 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 will be variable, and it is not constant. This is the difference between additive error and proportional error. In additive error, the error which is formed will be constant, whereas in proportional error, the error which is formed will be variable. Now, method error. What is method error? When for every analysis process there will be a suitable method. If we use a method which is not suitable for the analysis process, then it will result in the formation of method error. These are the 6 types of determinate errors. First one is personal error, second one is instrumental error, third one is reagent error, fourth one is additive error, fifth one is proportional error, sixth one is determinate error. Now coming to the indeterminate error, these are not furtherly divided into any other like subdivisions. They cannot overcome, and the cause for these indeterminate errors do not know for the analyst. These are the types of errors. Now our next topic is minimization of errors. Next topic is minimization of errors. Minimization of errors. So whenever the error which is formed has to be minimized, there are several methods to minimize the error. First method is calibration of instrument. This calibration of instrument is one of the most important process for the minimizing of error. In calibration, we must know one more term, that is periodic calibration. This periodic calibration is very much required to minimize the error. Second one is running a blank determination. First one is calibration of instruments. Second one is running a blank determination. Here we must know what is blank determination. In blank determination, there is no use of analyte, and we do not use analyte. Analyte is not used. Analyte is not used, and we use only reagent plus solvent. These are used. These are used to minimize the errors which are present in reagent and solvent but not in analyte. This is running a blank determination method. Here the analyte is not used, only reagent and solvent is used. These both two are used, and these are used to minimize the error which is present in reagent and solvent. Next, third one is control determination. What is the difference between blank determination and control determination? Here we use the analyte. Analyte is used. Analyte is used, and this control determination is used for determination of errors which is present in both analyte and reagent and as well as solvent. The main difference between this blank determination and control determination is, here in blank determination there is no use of analyte, and in control determination we use analyte. Next, fourth one is standard addition. First one is calibration of instrument, second one is running a blank determination, third one is control determination, and fourth one is standard addition. Here in the standard addition, what is standard addition means, when we consider analyte A, reagent B and solvent C, these three are used in analysis process. Now if we want to minimize the error which is present in this analyte, in standard addition we must add standard analyte A. Analyte A, in standard addition we must add known amount of standard analyte A which is same form of analyte A, which is in known form, and this is standard analyte A. After adding this standard analyte A to this analyte A, it results in the minimization of magnitude of error. Let us consider analyte A is 10 micrograms. Now standard analyte is 5 grams, 5 milligrams. Now 10 plus 5, totally 15. If it is exactly 15, then the standard addition is useful to us. If there is less than 15 or more than 15, then it is not used. This is standard addition. Next one is internal standard addition. Next, this is standard addition. Next one is internal standard addition. What is the difference between standard addition and internal standard addition? Let us consider analyte A plus reagent B plus solvent C in analysis process. Now in internal standard addition we should add known amount of another standard analyte which is not same to A. Standard analyte of D, which is, this is A, B, C and this is D. This standard analyte should not have same features of this A. In this standard addition, analyte A and standard analyte A should be both same, but in internal standard addition, this analyte A and standard analyte B, standard analyte D should be different. These are the difference between standard addition and internal standard addition. In standard addition, here analyte A and standard analyte A should be same. In internal standard addition, analyte A and standard analyte should be different. These are the main difference between standard addition and internal standard addition. Next, sixth one is methods used in this is also one of the most important minimization of error. Now if we want to know about HCl, there are several methods like neutralization, and one more is standardization. These two are in these two method, whether in any of these two method, if we get appropriate value, then we should use any either of this neutralization or standardization reaction. This is one of the most used methods. These are the 6 methods. Next, 7th one is parallel method. What is parallel method? In this parallel method, when we use only one type of analysis process, there may be getting of chances of errors. If we use more than one method which are suitable to that